Days of Reagan forward, we've had a pretty massive, I like to call it really something other than corruption, but we've had a pretty massive accepted corruption system. Our political system has gone to, I guess I could call it bribery, but it's legal bribery, where politicians receive great amounts of money, both for their campaigns and great amounts of pleasure from lobbyists in return for certain favors. And this time around, we have one candidate who is probably the queen of receiving money. It goes back as far as her days in Arkansas before Bill became president. And that one she almost got in real trouble for. It goes through her medical plan her health plan that she was planning with Senator Rosentowski, who was then arrested and put in jail for bribery. Mm-hmm. And there's a long, consistent situation where every major industry in America has paid this lady. I include the pharmaceutical, the insurance, Wall Street, the military companies. All of these have been behind Hillary, and she supports all of these. And it makes it very, very difficult to reverse the income preferences that have been given to the richer people in America. Mm-hmm. And I doubt very much she wants to. She's been paid not to. Bernie has every intention of stopping the crime that goes on in the banks. And I believe that this is a man who is sincere, who is not particularly there for the money he might make later, mm-hmm. who is not there because he has to have power. I think he's there for the good of the nation. And I do not believe the other two are. Bernie will accomplish things in these areas. I think he has the support of the young, intelligent people and the old, boring, conservative people who are selfish and who want everything for themselves will not have the say with Bernie, and they haven't bought Bernie, that these other people have. Bernie's not going to lay out $15 trillion to save the banks, mm-hmm. when the people got fewer than 500 million. Mm-hmm. Okay? Who saved the people? Bernie's going to probably, if the economy doesn't get going, he will figure out a way to give $1 trillion or two, not give, but to get $1 trillion or two going in the economy again, rebuilding the economy, but not for the purpose of making the banks profitable. Do you know that the Federal Reserve gives approximately $20 billion a year gratuitously to the handful of banks that are members of the Federal Reserve, and there is no function that they fill as members of the Federal Reserve that they wouldn't fill as non-members of the Federal Reserve. So these things need to end, and I think that obviously Wall Street is not interested in these things ending because they get the money, and Bernie won't give them the money. And I believe that all of the issues that Bernie has approached, and I don't say that he really understands every one of them completely. Mm-hmm. I think he has the right idea, and he'll get the right people behind him. Mm-hmm. But all of the issues that Bernie talks about will lead us back to a productive economy for the middle classes down to the poor. Mm-hmm. And all of the issues that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump approach will bring us back to the Clinton-Reagan era or the Obama era. He has accomplished none of this himself. Mm-hmm. And also he has been a warrior, a hidden warrior. Do you know that this country never tortured people before W?
Yeah.
It really didn't. Crazy. And now we have Donald Trump talking about torture being just fine. And I don't hear Hillary talking about it not being fine. And I still see Guantanamo open, so Obama didn't do very much. He talked about it, but he didn't do very much. But Bernie also probably will not spend his life being a failed warrior. If you think about America, from the Second World War on, let us start with Vietnam or Korea or wherever you want to start, we've never really won a war. So why are we having wars? We've never won a war. When we leave, even if we say we've won, and W said we won, what happens after? Nothing that we might have wanted and usually it gets worse. I don't think Bernie's going to do that. I think Hillary's going to do that. She's a warrior. We all know that. She likes to go to war. That's her modus operandi in the past. But Bernie, it's not his modus operandi. I don't think that China is as big a problem as we all say. In fact, I'm sometimes amused because we designate China and Russia as our enemies. Now, why do we do that? I'm not sure. Is that because of the power that the Hillary Clintons and the business people behind her want? Is China really our enemy, or are we making them our enemy? I think these things are a myth, and they're a myth in order to keep this whole machine going that these folks are paid to keep going. I think it will be the youth of America and maybe the youth of the world that enables us to survive. And I hope they have the good luck to get Bernie as their leader, because the other ones are going to be a catastrophe.
Well, going towards those two candidates, if you had to pick, which one do you think would be better for the economy, Trump or Hillary?
It's so hard because I would think that if Donald did what he says, the good things he says he's going to do, he would be better, because she's a disaster. But Donald is crazy. And Donald is tasteless. And he doesn't have a clue. And he's going to have the wrong people around him. So it's very, very, very hard to say.
Yeah.
He could get lucky. She can't. She's bought. Everybody on Wall Street is not a bad guy. Okay? There are more bad guys than there were before, because the whole concept of greed without caring about others has really taken hold. It started to come apart in the 1980s. The respect these people had for themselves as opposed to the respect for the raw game of money changed radically. And you saw, even though Giuliani was grandstanding and it was his method of becoming a politician, you saw what happened to Wall Street as they began to expose some of what was going on. They didn't expose their friends, and the friends of Giuliani paid for his election here, and they did the same things as the guys who were exposed. But nonetheless, I think some of Wall Street is disrespectful for the laws. They know they can pay fines. They know they're not going to jail, and it's considered simply an expense of being in the business.
Do you think that Bernie should break away from the Democrats?
It's a very good question. Yes, but not yet. I think that if he really loses the primary, remember there are many things going on with Hillary, and she could be pushed aside along the way. Things are coming to the fore. Donald's going to bring more things to the fore, and Bernie's the only one still there. But I would strongly urge Bernie, and again, I have no contact. I'm a personal single pack. But I would strongly urge Bernie to run as an independent, because I think when these two people start ripping at each other, and when the world understands and the country understands who and what they are, he could win as an independent.